What's up, guys? My name is Zach, and today I am driving a 2014 Mercedes E63s AMG Wagon. Up front is a 5.5 liter twin turbo V8, and down below is a 7-speed automatic transmission. Now, I am super excited to be driving this E63s AMG Wagon for one main reason. It is a fast, good-looking V8 powered station wagon. This car kind of defined cool wagons in general. This car held the Nürburgring record for fastest wagon for several years until this car's successor actually beat it. And in the last 10 years since its release, I think it still looks good and holds its value really, really well. So we're gonna get into all of that here today. But if you would like to submit your own vehicle and have it reviewed here on the channel, you can head on over to my website, zackpradel.com/submit. It's a quick and easy submission form. It takes under a minute to fill out, and I come out to you. And if you would like to see all my videos weeks or sometimes months before they're released here on YouTube, you can head on over to my Patreon for only $5 a month, and there's also exclusive audio content found there as well. But let's get back to that 5.5 liter turbo V8 under the hood. Twin turbo V8, I'll have you know. Well, that is the creme de la creme. That is the special part of this car for the AMG. The only real issue the owner said that this engine seems to have is cam phaser gasket issues or seal issues, which is about a $10 rubber grommet. Besides that, they've seemed to be really reliable for what they are, and of course, people tune these to be obscenely high horsepower builds, but this one here today is completely stock and factory, which is still plenty. In its stock format, it makes 577 horsepower, which is nothing to thumb your nose at. Around town, driving it at slow speeds, I'm currently doing 15 miles an hour, you can feel the readiness in the engine block. It's ready to go. You have that low-end torque around town that's severely missing by smaller displacement vehicles. In that regard, there is no replacement for displacement. Now, top speed, that's a different thing, but it's really nice to drive slow, and that's the key difference between the V8s and the other cars. Oh man, any moment you want it to make you smile, you just have to move your right foot a slight amount and you have a smile on your face. I personally would probably put an exhaust on this car. It was a little quiet, as you heard or didn't hear. But any gloomy day, just wah! And gloomy day, no more. I like that. I like that quite a bit. Like I said, paired to it is a 7-speed automatic. Mercedes knows what they're doing with 7 speeds. They've been doing them for quite some time, and it's no real intrusion or anything like that. Last but not least, the E63s AMG is all-wheel drive with a rear torque split of around 76%, if I remember correctly, which is very nice to see. This is a rear-biased vehicle, so it's a fun one. How does it feel to drive the E63s AMG Wagon? Well, it's a two-headed coin, or two-headed bull, two-sided coin, whatever the saying is. Because like I said, around town, it's very manageable, it's quiet, it's reserved, it's luxurious. And yet, when you open up that tap, when you let that horsepower flow freely, well, it's a completely different animal. Then, you're just kind of holding on for dear life. And so you don't have to sacrifice one end of the spectrum for the other. You can have that nice comfy daily. You can have that terrifying horsepower monster. Mercedes doesn't make you choose. It gives you both. And that is nice to feel. With that stuff out of the way, let's talk about the interior. Well, in front of me, I have 3 physical gauges. Off to the left is my fuel and coolant temperature. In the center is my speedometer. And off to the right is my tachometer, of course, reminding you that it is a V8 bi-turbo. On the steering wheel, on the left, we have our selectors for the gauge cluster screen, as well as our go back and downshift paddle shifter. And off to the right, we have our upshift paddle shifter phone and volume options. Off to the left, we do have a climate vent, fog light switch, as well as our headlight switch. And moving out of the door, we have 3 levels of memory seats, lock and unlock, power mirrors, and power windows. Moving into the center, we do have our infotainment screen. This is the only part of the interior that really starts to date this car. If you were to look at the rest of it without that infotainment screen, I think you could pass this as a 2025 Mercedes product. But that is a downside. Here's the backup camera. It's nothing crazy. It's nothing too interesting. Down below that, we do have an analog clock with 2 climate vents, and we do have our radio and volume buttons. I don't love this. This is a little bit too many buttons for me. It's a little overwhelming, but with modern tech, you just Bluetooth your phone and call it a day. But we do have heated and ventilated seats. Very nice to see that. We have our folding headrests, our eco mode, hazard switch, and then down below we have our climate controls, dual zone climate found here, which is very, very nice. So that with the heated and ventilated seats, you're going to be comfortable driving your E63s AMG. Then we do have our ashtray and cigarette lighter. And then moving into the center console, we have all of the fun buttons. So off to the left, we have our drive modes for comfort, sport, sport plus, and manual mode. Of course, one of the beautiful things is leaving it in comfort is truly comfortable. We have our traction control off button, which will not be touched today because I don't want to crash Stan's AMG on him. Suspension settings and the AMG button, of which the AMG button will put it into manual mode. Off to the right is our shifter powering that 7-speed auto. It's a little dainty, tiny little shifter, and it's kind of adorable. But then we have our selectors for the infotainment screen and some cup holders. We'll do a big friggin' bottle test, but if you have eyes, you could tell that it fails right off the bat. Then we do have a little center console and the seats. The seats are really comfortable. Like I said, they're heated, ventilated, power, memory, and they have active bolsters, meaning when you go around a corner, they actually stiffen up to help keep you within the seat. This is the best of both worlds, because me being a bigger guy, I don't fit in a lot of sports seats, but this isn't a sports seat, but then when you go around the corner, it turns into a sports seat. Very, very nice to see that. However, speaking of seats, one of this car's claim to fame is what's behind me, so let's go do a back seat and cargo space review. All right, so we're in the back of the 2014 Mercedes E63s AMG 4MATIC, if you want to be proper. And I always forget the E-Class doesn't necessarily mean it has a giant back seat. Now, I'm fitting properly. I'm sitting up, even with the sunglasses on my head. I'm not hitting the ceiling. My knees aren't hitting the seat in front of me, but I'm not in a swimming pool back here. I'm not in a huge, vast cathedral amount of space, if that makes any sense. I do have 2 climate vents as well as a 12-volt outlet down below. We do have a center console with pop-open cup holders. Very nice to see that as well. But again, nothing terribly crazy. It's not huge, but I fit back here. Being a 5'11", not small guy, I fit back here. And that's all I can ask for. You can bring your buddies back here on a 500+ horsepower twin-turbo V8 sleigh ride. That's pretty cool. We do also get heated rear seats as well. 3 levels of heated seats for the back occupants. Very nice. Now we will hop into the back. Unfortunately, the AMG version did not get the 3rd rear-facing row, but if you got other Mercedes products, or Mercedes wagons, I should say, in this era, you could get a rear-facing 3rd row. Kind of unique, but we don't have it here, so we'll just do a cargo space review. So I currently have 2 objectives: to show you the rear cargo space of the E63s AMG, and also to not snap my neck on the ice in which is in front of it. This is incredibly sketchy. We do have a power tailgate, which I'll step back for. Very, very nice to see that. Not all wagons come with power tailgates. The luxury ones do, so it's nice to see that. Moving in here slowly and cautiously, plenty of space. This is why you buy the wagon. So much room. It really could fit a 3rd row. It's a little sad that they didn't, because a 3-row, 577 horsepower station wagon would be crazy, but we do have some basic amenities back here. We do get a 12-volt outlet, and you do get a big privacy cover in the back here. But this is so nice. And the nice thing about this too is that it's not a little bit more space than the sedan. This is a lot more space than the sedan counterpart, so very, very nice to see that. Come up here, we have 2 buttons. That is for the tailgate, that is for lock, obviously, and there you go. right down it goes. Now we gotta talk about the looks, and of course this car looks fantastic. Not only do I think it looks really good, but it's also pretty modern. I think this car has aged incredibly well. As I mentioned with the interior, looking at this car, it doesn't look like it's 11 years old, and that is very, very nice. With all of that being said, let's get on to my final thoughts. What do I think driving the 2014 E63s AMG Wagon? Well, it's been wonderful. This might be one of the most perfect cars. It handles incredibly well. It's fast. It looks good. You have a twin turbo V8. The interior is luxurious. I have heated and ventilated seats, power memory seats, the bolstered seats. I have my little analog clock. All of this together is just such a complete package. And so every single car has to have its Achilles heel. Everything in this world has to be balanced by something. So what is the issue with the E63s AMG Wagon? What is that little tendency that keeps it from pure perfection? Well, the only thing that was left, the price. Buying one of these new in 2014 would have set you back almost $120,000. And even in today's market, they don't go for nothing because people know what these are worth. People know that these are special and exciting and unique. So they retain their value pretty well. Now, not quite that $100,000 mark, about half of it, but for 10 years on, they don't seem to be going much lower than that. So you are going to pay quite a bit, but you're paying for something that's really, really good, something that's gonna stay by your side for years and years and years, something that had optional carbon ceramic brakes, but also could carry the family with the dog in the back. Something that you can go and get groceries in, something that you could take on vacation and not have to squeeze your duffel bag into a tiny Rubik's Cube sized compartment. This isn't the best of both worlds. This is the best of all worlds. And it's the world that I love living in. This car is great. It really, really is one of the best. It can do anything you want it to do. And I love it. I really, really love it. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Huge thank you to Stan for letting me borrow his E63s AMG for today's video. Stan has been wonderful to work with. He also has an amazing photography account on Instagram, so if you'd like to go check that out, Show Photography. He's one of the best in the Chicagoland area, and I appreciate him very, very much. But I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Don't forget to rate the video, comment on the video, and subscribe if you really liked it. Take care, guys.